Hi, it's Rona, and today I am playing along with Scraplift Crafternoon, the hop that we do every Sunday, and there's a whole group of ladies, I think there's 10 of us, that Tara has put together and made into a team, and we scraplift a layout every week. So I'm also playing along with Nicole and Lisa, who are doing Creating with Collections. I think this is Nicole's like volume 4 maybe. And I'm just playing along for fun. They have a collaboration, and then they just kind of opened it up to anybody who wanted to play along and kill their kit. And we're going to take the whole year to do it. So I have never killed a kit, and I wanted to play along. So I am using the Doodlebug Farmhouse collection. They are both using the Doodlebug Tinsel Time, I think. It's a Christmas one. So that is another part of this layout today. So I didn't mention we are scraplifting Darla Weber for Scraplift Crafternoon. I showed you her layout there, and she had used a pretty diagonal in the very back, and then she had a border of brown, and then she had what looks like either, I would guess that it was probably just a white cardstock that maybe she had done some distressing on. So I found a diagonal in this collection, and then I decided I wanted to really keep mine light and bright. She's got some browns and things in hers, but I'm keeping mine light and bright, and I am using this little floral. And then you saw the paper that I showed in the beginning, this one here. It's a old Coordinations, and this is back when we distressed everything, and you could actually distress this paper. It's not a white core, it's actually, this one had like a pinkish core. I think you'll see it when I flip it over to glue it down here in a minute, what the back side looks like. Well, when you sand the front of this paper, it's a whitewash one from Coordinations. When you sand it, it brings that colored core to the foreground in a cool way because it's got a texture to it. So I loved this back in the day, and I really, I had like a whole little sandpaper block that I would use and everything. I just had to go dig for a way to sand it this time, and I didn't do like a super heavy application of the sanding. Honestly, it was making such a mess, it was kind of not very fun. I don't know why I liked doing it so much back in the day. But anyway, so got all that cleaned up, and I have distressed a little bit in the background, so that will mostly get covered up by the time I get done layering. But it's there, and I did do around the edges, and you can see that in real life, and you can, I think, even see it in the close-ups. So I had this little cut apart that I wanted to use the barn, and I had pulled this out when I did a different layout, and I knew I wanted to use it with these pictures. The first layout that I did, I used the same, pictures from the same day. So I had pulled some stuff out, and I left those in a little tray, and I knew when I picked it back up again I was going to do more pictures, and I actually have one more grouping of pictures from this same day. But anyway, I have fussy cut that out. I cut part of that out because, spoiler alert, I'm not even going to use it. I end up, well, I'll tell you about that when I get there, I guess. I'm matting this picture in this scrap, and I'm going to go ahead and distress it. I've distressed all of the edges. Darla had several layers in hers behind her photos, and also that's the placement that I'm doing. That's the exact, same placement that she had. So she had several layers, and I just liked the layers being distressed for each layer. She used a film strip here, and I'm going to use this plaid And I'm using some of the papers that I used in that first layout that I was telling you about. It is here on my channel, so you can look at that if you are interested. But like, I had used that polka dot, I had used this plaid, and I'm kind of trying to get some of the same papers on it because they're going to be side by side in the book. I don't do necessarily 2-page spreads very often, but when it's the same day, I do like to have, or a lot of times, probably not all the time, but a lot of times I like to have some coordinating papers and things so that it looks nice together in the book and you can tell that it is the same day. So what I'm doing is just preparing each of my layers, and then I'm also going to cut out part of it. So it's basically like gutting, but for this I'm just going to cut a square out so that I can use that same yellow and add another layer to the top picture as well. And again, that yellow was also in that other layout. And the green that's behind that first photo that I did, I didn't say it when I was doing it, but that is part of what I gutted out of the green diagonal. It had polka dots on the other side, so that's what I used to map that photo with. And there was so much pretty bright green. It was like almost the identical color of this Doodlebug collection of green in the background, which is unusual, I think, but it looked so good with that green I had to use it. And then also I'm trying to kind of have the same colors and tones from her little shirt there that says homegrown, and I thought that was super cute, so I was really trying to kind of match that up a little bit. And I'm going to add a tag because, again, there were several layers beside the photos down there. I keep going back to the original creator's layout and checking and seeing what else I need to add. I'm going to add a tag here. She had a different element. It wasn't a tag, but this is going to give me the same shape. So I'm going to, let me see. Still trying to decide what other elements I want to use before I glue anything down. So these were the ones that I had pulled out when I was working on the first layout. I sorted through and chose items that were not fall because this is a fall layout. And there is a sunflower in that grouping there, but that doesn't bother me. I mean, I think that works fine. It's just another floral to me, and it's bright and summery, and I like it, so that didn't bother me. So I'm going through each of the other packs and things, trying to decide what else I can pull out to finish this up. And some of it was just, there's so much fall stuff that I set it off to the left. If I still want to use it, it's sitting there on the right. That's kind of how I do it. I look through the other pictures that I have because I know that I want to use this same collection again. And I'm like, well, do I want to pull out the tractor or whatever, or do I want to save that for the next layout? Because in the next layout they are riding on the tractor, although it's a little red tractor, and just because they're on a tractor in the photo doesn't mean I have to put a tractor on the page. But since there is one, I probably will. I love this little water tower. I don't know if you can see it on screen, but it says Sweetwater on it, and that is where my dad was born. My grandparents had a house and actually the post office that was just kind of in a building in front of their house, and it was Sweetwater, and they were like the only population of the whole town of Sweetwater, and it was kind of just like randomly on the highway, this post office and their house, an old farmhouse. And I just thought that little water tower was so cool, that it said Sweetwater. I had never seen that on anything before, so I wanted to get that on here, and I like how it looks up there. and then I switched out my barn. So I had pulled that out, and then I remembered, but I haven't remembered yet here as I'm going through this, that I pulled out the little cut apart. I'm showing you my 1mm foam tape. I finished a roll, so I had to get a new one out. So I was just showing you that. It's from scrapbook.com. I use it on all of my layouts. I'm currently super obsessed with it, and I've been using it a lot and mentioning it a lot, so I just thought I would show you the packaging. I decided to extend the length of this tag, so that's why I cut it, so it would extend a little bit farther down. But anyway, I fussy cut the other one because this one actually has pumpkins on it in front of the barn, and I haven't noticed that yet as I'm going through here. I changed it out thinking that I wanted the larger one just because the other things that I was pulling out were larger, and it felt like it wasn't to scale, although I'm going to use that super cute little dog playing in the mud in front of the windmill over there, and that's definitely not to scale, but I don't know why that didn't bother me, but my little cut apart did, and so I will save that for another layout. And I'm going to fix the fact that there's pumpkins in front of the barn here in a minute when I notice it as well. So I'm going to get the little windmill on there. I love the windmill. And then my title is going to be A Little Dirt Never Hurt. And I already had kind of thought that. And then I saw this little puppy who was playing in some mud or dirt, and I thought that would be perfect. Now also I pulled the sun out, and it was not one that I had pulled out to use on this. And I'm going to get it glued on, and then I'm going to actually look at the other page that I have already done that will be, next to this one, and see that there's a sun on it too. And that super bothers me. I don't know if that bothers anybody else, but if I'm doing a companion page or a 2-page spread, both pages cannot have suns on them. I don't know why. It just can't be. I can't have that. And it took me a bit to get it, and I did it off screen, pulling the sun up without ruining it. I didn't. I ended up getting it off, and it worked out fine, and I found something else to put up there. I just popped that up there because in Darla's layout she had one little embellishment cluster, a real small embellishment cluster at the top right there, and so that's why I put the sun there, because I thought that would work perfectly, but I didn't realize that the other page had a sun already, so that is why I'm going to have to get that taken back off. So I fussed around with this twine, and this twine is really odd. It's not my favorite. In fact, I think I'm gonna get rid of it before I move on and not leave it with this collection, because I will forget again how much I don't like it. See, now I'm seeing the sun. And I'm like, oh man, that stuck so good. But I really don't like the twine, and it did take me a bit to get my little bow made, and I fussed around with the twine on that other tag and where it was going to lay forever. Here I'm going to add my Doodlebug letters. These letters are not, I'm not considering them part of this collection that I have to kill, but I am pulling in letters as I need them, and white cardstock or whatever cardstock if I need it. I don't know if that's the rules they play by, if Nicole or Lisa are going to do the same, but I needed that for me. See, I keep playing with this. I feel like I like the little twirl in there, but the stuff is so hard to work with. Even gluing it down was not working very well. So I just finally decided I'm going to leave it straight across. I thought the twirl would be cute, and I'll get it here in a second, and if I could have gotten it like that, I would have loved it, but I never did, and I thought, oh, there's going to leave some trap space there, but I'm going to fill that up anyway, so it's not going to matter. My phone died, and so off screen I did the little cluster up at the top while I was letting it charge a little bit more so that I could finish up this layout. I find a little epoxy bird and heart and a couple of flowers that I'm going to use there. I have also put the Scrap and Happy Studio flare that says happy in this green that matched really well. I put that over one of the pumpkins, and then I did a little two tiny little florals over the other pumpkin in front of the barn, and that covers up the pumpkins. And then I'm also going to add a couple more little florals over by the water tower, and I think a little epoxy heart will go up there right under Sweetwater, and I like that that kind of draws attention to that. I may have to write that on the back of this, that I put the Sweetwater on there just because of my own childhood and where my grandparents used to live. This is my granddaughter, and I think that maybe that would be something fun to kind of document, even though this has nothing to do with it, and they're definitely not there. This is their farm. But anyway, here are my close-ups, and I appreciate you joining today. Definitely check out the playlist and see what everyone else did with Darla's beautiful layout. We will see you again next time. Bye-bye.